Well, shaking people. Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran, and we're going back for another bonus track from the All You Need Is Now album, 2010. I mentioned it before, I have a very elaborate sort of deluxe edition, which does include a bonus track, but it does not include all the bonus tracks, as it turns out. Which, once again, it just makes me realize that in the last few months I've become, I'm not going to say painfully aware, but acutely aware of the degree to which Duran, puts out bonus tracks, like remixes, and a number of sort of peripheral materials that, it's hard to keep track of everything. And, you get a copy of an album, you get a deluxe edition, like 2 CD version of an album, you think you're going to have everything. Might not necessarily be the case. So, yeah, once again, I'm amused by and I sort of enjoy the diversity of their releases. Again, they're like, bands that I've been listening to, including bands that have been around for about 40 years. I listen to a lot of punk bands that have been around since the 80s. Bad Religion, Dead Kennedys, both of which got started in like 1980. But it's funny, like there might be 3 or 4 different versions of one of their albums, like a later reissue, and there were 2 different versions of that, with like one color vinyl, one the other, and then maybe there was another reissue like later. So there might be like 4 or 5 versions, but with Duran Duran, it's crazy, just the number of different versions and like regional variants of different albums. So it seems once again that like the point is driven home to me, the fact that I made a point to like try to find a deluxe edition of this album, which I did, and it does have a bonus tune, but not all of them. So, like I said, I'm very amused by that. But we're up to another bonus tune, which is not on my copy, which is called This Lost Weekend. And not last weekend, but lost weekend. Obviously I think it is maybe in a sense, playing on words there with, you might say, oh, well, this last weekend, but saying this lost weekend, it has a similar sound, but a very different meaning, so I think there might be a bit of a play on words just from a basic sense. But, a lost weekend is a weekend that, it doesn't mean that things didn't happen. Many things might have happened, and maybe things that, pushed you in a behavioral or social direction that you're not happy with, and so you feel like at the end of the weekend that, if anything, you've just treaded water, or maybe you went down to an area of the pool that you shouldn't be dabbling in, and so on. So it feels like there's a lament, there's an implied regret that an opportunity or multiple opportunities have been wasted or have passed by without taking advantage of them. But again, the way that can manifest could be so many different possibilities. You could be a lost weekend in terms of like you wanted to make a connection with someone, but for one reason or another you couldn't do it, or you decided not to, or other aspects of real life got in the way. But it could also be like you had an ambition that you wanted to realize and whatever, maybe not necessarily related to a romantic situation, but just like something that you wanted to achieve, but maybe due to your insecurities or your anxiety, you didn't actually go through with it, and therefore at the end of the weekend, you feel like you've lost. And of course, weekend, as I keep saying it, that could be a metaphor. Might not refer to the period from Friday to the end of Sunday. It could be a weekend as it relates to sort of like the overall stretch of a longer period of time. So yeah, like I feel like metaphor could work in a few different ways with the phrase. But again, the thing that it most makes me think of is an implied lament, a regret about a loss of time and or possibility. So we'll have to see how it manifests, but this is Duran Duran, a bonus track from their 2010 album All You Need Is Now, called The Lost Weekend. I like the sort of like overexposed sound of that melody.
Evening, I can smell of the memory, the taint of scandal on my skin, yeah. And it seems that I've been managed, so gladly quiet. a history, but you know how I will pretend.
The vocal control.
Show no mercy to this clown, please remind me. Should I forget this last weekend?
Should I, like a normative question about letting go of memories.
Lucky nothing could
Hey.
come without the science. Should I forget this last weekend? Try
guitar
and
is
hush
nice.
it all up now. Should I forget this last weekend? Don't watch me now, I'm blushing. Should I forget this about me? I'm busy working. Should I forget? I'm possible to should I forget this last
Strings, little synth touches.
melancholy man? Should I forget this last weekend? Should I forget this last weekend?
My answer would hinge on a number of variables. Yeah, that's interesting. I lyrically, there's still a lot I got to capture there, even if I did hear a few of the lines. And part of it is, again, like by about halfway through, the guitar came in and started doing those little delicate touches, and then there was like just these little synth layers contributing to the sonic whole. And so I sort of, again, lost focus of the lyrics a little bit as the song went along. So let me know if you are familiar with the song and you have a clear angle on that. I will, of course, give it subsequent listens and try to sort of incorporate some of the themes more. But yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed. I think the thing that stood out more than anything else from that song is Simon's vocal performance. I mean, that was one heck of a vocal performance. Not only was he going up super high and staying there for like repeated melismas